powerful Baraxo hand cleaning products.
Great Western savings can be mighty helpful. Don't forget them.
Why hire?
Would they make it?
I don't think so.
We'll tell you.
Face Force. And a daring sailor set a record. He crossed the Atlantic to Britain in a boat no bigger than a bathtub. This has been a Fox News update.
This is KBRR Channel 10, Thief River Falls, Grand Forks, and KNRR Channel 12, Pembina, your Fox stations.
Yeah, now give me a TF.
Gotcha. And he comes up next after that. Okay.
Have a good show, everybody.
Hey, you too, Chevy.
Clean hat? Yeah. Go. Give me more.
He's from NASA. Fox is making this right now part of the control room to make a couple extra bucks.
Yeah, give me a downlink to air seaboat.
They want to use our room for what?
Yeah, he's like picking up some space probe from outer space. I don't know, some screwy thing.
Oh, that's it. That's it. We got it.
We have to do the show.
We have the Mars probe, $1 billion project.
Hey, back off. We got to start a show.
The show. We're going to lose the Mars probe. Get me a connection to JPL.
Hey,
what?
Will you get your priorities straight?
I have my friend. We're going to lose this if I don't get it right away. What?
10 seconds there.
It's getting weaker. I know it's getting weaker.
10 seconds.
8, 7, 6,
5, forward animation. 3, 2, 1, roll animation.
It's the Chevy Chase Show from Hollywood. Tonight, Star Trek The Next Generation's Jonathan Frakes. Comedian George Wallace. Mentalist Mark Stone. News update. And Tom Scott in the Hollywood Express. Now here he is, Chevy Chase. Now here he is, Chevy Chase.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
You know, I'm really glad to be here tonight. I'm sorry I was a little late again. For those of you who didn't see the show last night, I was late because the night before I had to, you know... A very funny man, comedian George Wallace is here. And I think something that will interest you, an actual mentalist. And that man... Last Sunday, 4 men and 4 women left Biosphere 2 in Arizona after living there for 2 years. Now, Biosphere 2, if you don't know, is that self-contained dome complex with its own little ocean, marsh, rainforest, and so on. And since another group is going in there to live in a few months from now, we've summarized. Thanks for being here. We got a great show. Jonathan Frakes is here, and we're going to have George Wallace and mentalist Mark Stone. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Great band. Tommy Scott, Eric Gale, Larry Campbell, David Goldblatt, and Johnny Friday. Ladies and gerbils, my first guest started out as a rag salesman. Today he's gone from rags to riches, becoming one of the funniest guys around. Please welcome the comedian George Wallace.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I've never met you before. I feel good. It's a pleasure.
Vice versa.
Well, vice versa, yeah. Whatever that means.
I think it means that I'm glad you are pleasant.
Well, I am very pleasant. Vice versa. That's one of those stupid things people say.
I see you're an Atlanta Braves fan.
Hey, Atlanta Braves all the way. What do you say? I knew it. I knew I'd get some booze out there. The San Francisco Giant fans are here, right? Well, the Giants will go to the World Series, but they will be sitting in the stands with me. No, I wish them the best, but Atlanta will go all the way. And you people sound like baseball fans, are you? Let's say, they're kind of stupid, too, sometimes, you know.
Baseball fans?
Yeah, you ever see them take me out to the ball game?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I not already at the ball game? Why do they sing that stupid song there?
That's right. That's right, they're already there.
And baseball players are stupid, too. You think football players are stupid. Baseball players are stupid. You ever see the guy, the batter at the bat? The pitcher throws on there, hits him upside the head with the ball. First thing he does is drop the bat. I say, keep that bat. Take that bat back out to the mound and knock him upside the head.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You'll never forget that. So yes, I hope we go to the World Series. That would be wonderful if we get to go to the World Series.
You know, George, they tell me you are one of the hardest working comedians out there. You work all the time.
Yes.
I see you're stealing from me at the same time.
Well, what are you going to do, call the police? Ooh, I better put this back. I forgot I'm in the city where they beat Rodney King. They might whoop me. Well, and then we're spending money in the courts now with this thing, trying to find out whether these 4 cops are guilty or not. All of them should have gone to jail. One of them should have gone to jail just for having the name Coon. Now,
Yeah, that's a good point. They're out now. I bet they can't wait to get in there, huh? Yeah.
They're out
Don't
right
bend
now.
over for the soap.
Don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you've been to jail before. But yes, I travel. I've been all over the world. I just come in from Memphis, Tennessee, and a lot of freaks down there. You ever go down south?
Oh, sure.
People in the south, if you've been down south, people that live in the south should not have porches. You drive in the south, you look on their porches, they got refrigerators, wash machine, freezers. Put that junk in the house where it belongs. People are crazy in the south. Then I went to a church yesterday in Memphis, Tennessee, freakish church. Pastor's name was Geo Patterson or something like that. Church was a freakish church. Church had 6 commandments and 4, do the best you can. And
Do the best you can.
6, do the best. That was pretty good. I like that part. And if you want to have a good time, stop by a black church sometime. They can really, really be funny. And I tell you what, if it's a long black hearse in front of the church, you should go there. Because you're going to see some funny stuff at a black church. Go to the cemetery. It really gets funny. They're lowering grandma in the grave and all the kids. 50. They're telling you before you leave the gate. 50, eh? Now, go on out there on runway 13 and give it the best shot. It's crazy. Flying is crazy.
Well, you still have to do it, and that's the way it is. I mean, you have to travel to get your act out. Yeah. Where do you live? I mean, with all of that, where do you?
I live at United and Delta.
That's where you live.
Because I'm always on airplanes. Yeah. I fly every day, and actually I live here in Los Angeles, and I've been away, and I missed it, and I'm back. I missed the smog here, and oh yeah, you people won't even admit that you have smog.
We have smog.
Well, you wake up every morning, that's a heavy fog coming in off the freeway.
Yeah.
And you know the smog is bad. I was white when I first moved out here. And I'm happy so many white people are here tonight, too, because I have a message for you people. The Mexicans have a plot to kill y'all. You know those oranges you buy at the freeway? You should have sense enough to know you can't buy 20 oranges nowhere in the world for $1.
I want you to hold this thought, George.
Okay, I'll tell you more about Los Angeles. A lot of freaks out here. Go to a commercial. I'll be here. I ain't going nowhere.
No, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with George.
We'll be right back.
George Wallace.
Yeah, Tom Scott is the best. Hi, Tom.
Isn't he the best?
best?
He's the best. I said, hi, John. Hi, John.
No, he doesn't want to know you.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's good. That's wonderful. And the whole band, too. I'm not neglecting the whole band. Hi, band.
Yeah.
All right.
Eric Gale.
Eric Gale.
Yeah.
Who else is over there?
Larry Compel.
Larry Compel.
Yeah.
Junebug. Everybody over there.
Johnny Friday, David Goldblatt.
David
Yeah.
Bobank, all
Yeah.
of them over there.
I just introduced them earlier. You know, I don't want the heads to get swollen. They're making their $250 a week, you know. You were saying...
Oh, they got a raise.
You were telling us you live in Los Angeles. I want to know how you like it. I mean,
I love living out here. It's crazy out here. Well, today is very hot, and what is it, 106 degrees today? But nobody knows it's going to be that hot because the weatherman never tell us out here. We got some freaky weathermans out here.
Yeah.
They got the only job in the world. They're never right, and they say, okay, come on back in tomorrow. The weatherman is always telling us what it's partly, mostly, chances are. Chances are. You go to school, the teacher asks you how much is 3 plus 4. You can't go nearly 7. With a 20% chance of being 8. And maybe 9 in the low-lying areas.
Yeah.
Next time I see my weatherman, I'm going to go, hey, this gun is partly loaded. Is it going to rain or not? Chances are you'll come up with something, huh?
Yeah.
So it's freaky out here. You know what is crazy out here is Christmas decorations are up already. And that's...
Not yet. No,
yeah,
really?
You go down to the department store right now, Bullock's, they got Christmas decorations
That's nice.
up. And I'm sick. It's nice.
Yeah, because
I don't like it, Chip.
I don't like it either, man. I mean, you get Christmas 85 degrees. It's not Christmas.
And artificial snow is melting in the window and things like that. It's just not right. We should deal with one holiday at a time. We didn't have Halloween yet.
No.
And I love Halloween.
I thought when you arrived this evening, maybe we had it, but with this getup. Oh, that's a silly joke.
Now, wait a minute now. That's called playing the dozen, and you know I'm good at playing the dozen. You talked about what I'm wearing, then I'll start talking about your mama, so watch me now.
You were talking about my mama.
Yeah, I know your mama. No,
You say nothing about my mama.
Oh, your mama said because she had to trick-or-treat over the telephone. Now, it's a little game. It's a little game we played, Chevy, and you started talking about me, and these things just come out of me.
I don't
see?
know how my mama came into this.
Well, Holly, you leave my mama out of this.
I'm
now.
not going to say a word.
All right, I'm not going to say anything else about your mama either, because frankly, I don't know the man.
No.
Now, stop it. Stop it out there. You freaky people out there. Good morning, Chevy.
Good morning, and how are you today? Nice to have you on the air.
Well, thank you so much. I was talking about Halloween.
Yeah.
Before you interrupted me.
But you go ahead.
Because we got to deal with one holiday at a time, because Halloween is coming up at the end of the month, and next month, actually. And I love, you like Halloween?
I do.
Last year, I went to a masquerade party. It was funny. I went dressed as a butler, and they worked the hell out of me. And I'm trying because I'm enjoying Halloween now, because when I was a kid, we didn't have money to buy costumes and things like that. We had to make do with what we had. And one year, we changed clothes with the neighbors. They went as us, and we went as them. See, it's fun now because my mom didn't have gum and candy to give out. One year she gave out mashed potatoes.
That's a nice gift.
And you could hear it when they hit the bottom of the bag. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. So one holiday at a time. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy. I live out here. It's crazy. And,
Yeah. And you know about this weather thing, I mean, the one thing that bothers me is that they say the air quality is unhealthful, which is clearly, if you're over 40, you're dead. Or,
true.
you know, you're a kid who's under 1, don't go out. But it's unhealthful. It's not unhealthy. There's no such thing as unhealthy out here. Everything's healthy, but unhealthy. That's
so
the
you
whole
got to
thing.
stay in the house all day.
Yeah.
So that's what's wrong with
And
me.
we don't get weather. I mean, Christmas is 85
It's 80
degrees.
Santa Claus in shorts. It's not right, is it? It's not right. We got to change this country.
Well, you could do it. You got the political name. You could be the politician of the century. With
George
that,
Wallace,
with that,
that's my
And the other one was a great guy, huh? You should go
Yeah.
to politics. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the other one was a great guy.
Yeah.
You're the one that voted for him, too.
Oh, yeah, right. Him and Orville Falbus.
But you know what? Yeah, a lot of people get stuck with names they don't like. You know, mine's George Wallace. Look at the Orville Redenbacher, Mr. Green Jeans.
Yeah,
Who in the right mind would name the kid Casper Weinberger?
that's true.
That sounds like the ghost of a Jewish deli, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I should be in charge of this country, to tell the truth, because I think the government is wasting our money, just like Ross Perot says. Ross Perot, I think he's got too many lights on his Christmas tree, too.
Yeah.
I dropped him a year ago. He said he wanted to turn America back to what it used to be. I said, that's enough for me right there.
Right. I think that, I think Perot lost a few tiles on re-entry.
He's a little off, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can see George at the Comedy Corner in West Palm Beach, Florida,
This
right?
weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And I want everybody to be there.
Yeah.
Right through the 3rd.
And then you're going to be at the Steve Harvey Comedy House in Dallas, Texas, October 14th through October 17th?
I'm going to be there every night, making nothing but money and fun.
And friends.
And friends. I do need some friends, don't I?
You're going to make some.
All right. Are you paying me now, or do I get paid later?
I'm paying you as I shake your hand.
Well, I really appreciate this.
There's a quarter in there.
There's a quarter. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. And
All right. Thank you, George. Be right back with News Update.
What's this?
Monterey Ranch. Monterey Ranch, Monterey Ranch, Monterey.
I'm sorry I asked.
We got the hint, so it's back. Creamy ranch dressing with...
It's time now for News Update with our anchor, Chevy Chase.
Good evening, I'm Chevy Chase, and I'm still on television. Our top story. President Clinton addressed the UN yesterday asking for a moratorium on nuclear testing in response to reports that China is about to test its own nuclear arsenal. UN officials believe China's first test site will be Sydney, Australia. With the current political unrest in Russia, many have voiced concern over the safety of Russian nuclear weapons. Those fears were alleviated somewhat today when a State Department spokesman disclosed that most of Russia's nuclear weapons have already been sold to Iraq. Kelly Bailey Hutchinson, the Republican senator from Texas, has been indicted for destroying government documents that were being used in an investigation against her. In response, Senator Hutchinson said, "These charges are not supported by a single shred of evidence." Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Director Stephen Higgins has resigned in protest following a report which criticized his handling of the Waco, Texas standoff. Higgins said that it was the hardest decision he's ever made, and that for a while he even considered barricading himself in his office, but decided against it. I'm just the newsman. Freed on an 11th-hour reprieve, convicted LAPD officers Lawrence Powell and Sergeant Stacy Coon walked out of a North California jail yesterday. Before they could be questioned by the media, Powell and Coon shared a 40-ouncer and sped off in a white Hyundai, reaching speeds of up to 120 miles an hour. A new USA Today CNN Gallup poll finds that a majority of Americans strongly favor health care reform. The poll was conducted among 100 adults waiting for surgery in a hospital emergency room. Virgin Atlantic Airways has announced that they will soon offer in-flight gambling on their London-Hong Kong route. Gambling, of course, is long been offered on Northwest Airlines, where it's being referred to as buying a ticket. Freedom Air, the first all-smokers airline, completed its maiden voyage yesterday when it touched down at Chicago's airport. The airline was founded by Ted Hall, a retired airline pilot who said he was frustrated by current no-smoking regulations. Fear of recycling old ideas. The Colorado Rockies set a major league attendance record by drawing almost 4.5 million fans to Mile High Stadium this season. Local resident Little Eric Sutton said, quote, "Seeing the Rockies really makes me want to play in the major leagues," end quote. Until then, Eric will continue playing for the Mets.
Tomorrow on the Chevy Chase Show, actors Sam Elliott, from Baywatch, Pamela Anderson, and Chevy and the Enchanters. But stay tuned for Star Trek The Next Generation's Jonathan Frakes. From
From the NBC studios in Burbank, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Featuring Branford Marsalis and The Tonight Show Band. Tonight, Jay welcomes Paul Reiser. 7-year-old cooking champion Charlie Putz Lamport. And the music of Mark Colley. I'm Ed Hall. And now, Jay Leno.
Welcome to Biosphere 3, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. I guess that's been the big story all week. You know, those Biosphere scientists come out of that glass dome thingy there. And I guess, you see them today in the news? I guess they're having a rough time adjusting to life outside the dome. They're pretty depressed. See, for the last 2 years, they planned what they were going to do once they got out. And I guess they decided they would all cash in their IBM stock, buy tickets on Eastern Airlines, and then go down to Miami, Florida for a nice, quiet vacation. Yeah, it just didn't work out, yeah. Anybody know the final cost for that glass-enclosed biosphere thing? Everybody know how much it costs? It's unbelievable. How much do you think? How much? 150 million. Isn't that unbelievable? 150 million. Actually, it was only 1 million for the scientific equipment and $149 million in Windex. Yeah, apparently to keep the... just to keep that glass. Now, here's the amazing thing about the biosphere. I bet you didn't know this. Even though the dome was airtight, still 2 defecting Cuban pilots got in there. I don't know how they did it. Somehow they tunneled under. It's fascinating, though. See this? Indicted for conduct unbecoming of a senator. Unbecoming of a senator? What is that? What, did you refuse a bribe or something? How would you tell the truth? Loyal to your spouse? What kind of conduct would be unbecoming? It's kind of sad. She's only been in the Senate 16 weeks. 16 weeks. But on the other hand, you got to admire somebody who can step in and learn the job that quickly. Huh? Boy, I tell you, just learn all the ropes just like that. Here's an interesting fact. Depressing fact. The Center for Disease Control says 900,000 Americans get sick every year from tap water. Yet, hardly any dogs get sick. I think the solution is obvious. Okay, stop. Again, not the most tasteful solution, but hey. I think President Clinton been pushing this health care plan thing a little too much, starting to get to him, you know. Yesterday, he was in New York. He was campaigning for Mayor David Dinkins there, and when Dinkins welcomed Clinton to the city that never sleeps, Clinton said, insomnia is a serious health problem. I feel your pain, you know, so it kind of, yeah, yes. As you know, I do make my living as an impressionist for many years. And Hillary Clinton testified on Capitol Hill today about the health care thing, and Republicans wanted to know how this health care thing was going to save money. And she says she's going to let the doctor from the home show give everybody flu shots. It'll cut the price, yeah, just cut the cost in half. Yeah, just, there's no reason why each person should have their own needle. That's elitist. Have you heard about this new smokers airline? They made their first flight for smokers only. Now there's one, I'm not making this up, called Vintage Air, which uses these old-time airplanes to fly people around. You know, if airlines are looking for a gimmick to get people to fly, how about comfortable seats, good food, timely arrival, huh? Maybe you could call it Fat Chance Airline, something like that. And the FAA said today, if steps aren't taken soon, the airlines won't have enough qualified pilots in just a few years. But see, I think that's silly to worry about it. I mean, Cuba's sending one a week over, actually, but something like that, 1, 2 a week. Now, here's some environmental news. See, you learn something, learn about health, the environment. We cover all the subjects here. The beechwood chips. You've heard about the beechwood chips that the fine people at Anheuser-Busch used to age their beer. Well, now they're recycling those chips as compost to be used in gardens and nurseries, which is a good life you spend sleeping, the average person. How many years? 23. See, you watched last night. The average American spends 23 years of their life sleeping. However, this is the interesting part, if you've ever gotten a room at a Holiday Inn next to the ice machine, just cut 8 hours off of that. So then it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. And in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, soul singer James Brown, in honor, do you know about this? Huh? Do you guys know about that?
No.
Had a bridge named after him?
Oh.
Come on, you didn't see them in the news?
No, sorry.
Do you guys know about that? James Brown had a bridge named after him. And they say the bridge, going over the bridge gives you the James Brown experience. Now, what does that mean? The cops shoot your tires out when you go over there? Something? Now, here's a very unusual story. This is really weird. Rod Serling's widow says that she found a long-lost Twilight Zone script in her attic. And the really strange part is the script was about her finding a script in her attic. Thank you, very good, very good, very good. Good job, man. All right. And the first episode of this new TV show, Acapulco Heat. Have you heard about this show? It's on tonight. Starring Catherine Oxenberg, you know, beautiful woman, and Fabio, fabulous Fabio. Well, that's got to be depressing for her. Show up for work every day and know she's got only the second best chest and hair on the program, you know? A little depressing, yeah. And Beverly Hills 90210 actress Shannon Doherty got married on Friday. How about that? And the amazing thing is, it's Tuesday. Still married, huh? How about that? Come on. Give the kid credit. Going for Friday. Going to make Friday. Yeah. And here's some happy news. Rob Lowe. You all know Rob Lowe. His wife had a baby boy this weekend. That was very exciting. Congratulations to Rob Lowe and his wife. Yeah, I wonder if he did. An old friend, a fine comedian, a good actor, and the star of his own show, Mad About You, Paul Reiser is with us. Paul Reiser! And a young man, 7 years old. This young man won the Western Montana baking competition, beating out all the men, all those tough cowboy guys. 7 years old, beat them all out, ladies and gentlemen. And he's here to, well, you'll find out about him. He'll be in just a little while. Charlie Putz Lamport. Thank you very much. I know. And a fine, fine singer, a gentleman I ran into in a men's room 9 years ago in Nashville, Tennessee, ladies and gentlemen. And a good singer, Mark Colley, is here. Mark Colley. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, if Kenny Kirkland seems just a little sharper tonight, it's because it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Kenny! Kenny Kirkland! Just practicing up. Oh, good to see you, good to see you. Branford, introduce this distinguished guest.
Well, with pleasure. This distinguished guest of ours has been an internationally known flutist for about 30 years now, right? 30 years, right? As a matter of fact, when one of his first records came out, I was about 3 or 4, maybe. So,
It's nice to have friends in the business, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
He's been a very positive influence on all our lives. Please welcome Mr. Hubert Laws.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Branford. Can you also say flautist or flutist?
Well, they used to say flautist, but they say flutist now.
So why they used to say, why they changed?
I have no idea. I don't make the rules. I just
So who made
do
the
my
law
job.
that you can no longer say
Hey,
flautist?
I don't know, buddy. I just do my job.
How many people here say flautist? How many people think it's flutist? Pianist. Pianist.
Call it off.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, headline night, actual headlines taken from actual newspapers. This headline I love. You know, there are certain things, to get a job, you know, there are certain things you just have Had no idea. Oprah and Gorbachev, there they are, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. You complained about your driver's license photo. This is a junior.
They do not. That's certainly our vision from here.
Some of those now inside the White House may feel that the only way they're going to get any popular support is by martyring themselves in some way. In other words, that they may take some preemptive move that causes violence. What do you think?
Well, Ted, there's always that concern when you have this combination of people in a kind of barricade situation where you have weapons, where you have reports of drinking. All of those kinds of things can lead to accident, miscalculation.
In the front, which is very kind of scary, because he's like 15 feet away, and there's just a security, what do you call it, Secret Service guy, just right there, between me and him. And they look at you. These guys have no sense of humor. And I'm not going to do anything, but I'm just sitting there, I'm listening to the, I just feel like he's looking at me like I'm trouble. I just know it. He's looking at me. And so I'm looking at him trying to smile like, it's all right. He's not smiling. So, oh, man, now I'm in trouble. So everything you do is suspicious. I knocked my fork, and he goes, I went, no, let's go for the water, go for the water. So it's like, here, I went to get, reach in my pocket. I go, oh, nothing. Move. So suddenly I'm watching the speech like this. Here's my hands. I'm not doing anything. And you start feeling like a terrorist. And then after a while, this is a terrible thought, but I'm thinking, I think I could take him. You know what I mean? I have no reason to. I'm a great admirer of our vice president, and I wish him only well, but I'm thinking, I could get past this guy for no reason. Just, shake his hand, give him a hug, something nice, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I didn't.
Not
in the last minute, I didn't. No, it's been a crazy
Did
day.
the guy have the shades?
He had he had no shades. He had no, they don't have shades. So they can give you that look, that extra scary look, like, I mean you. You know what I mean? That special, I mean you, Mr.
You can never quite figure out where they are. They always appear to have no ethnic heritage of any kind, these guys. They're always that kind of blonde guy, but not really blonde.
And they're sort of like the Buckingham Palace guards. Where there you can go over, you can try and make them laugh. These guys wouldn't do it.
Tickle them a little or something.
Yeah, they're not big fans of the tickling, turns out. No. But it's a weird thing.
Again, it's like quarter after. I'm going, where is Riser? You're always late.
I forgot my jacket. This is, I don't make it clear.
Environmental people would appreciate that.
It's like a dog looking at a pool of water. I don't know what's water and what's dog. Sometimes you have to spin yourself out of the room, and if you really want to get a look, what your hope is maybe somebody walks by who looks roughly like you and look at the back of his head.
This is KVRR, Channel 15, Fargo-Moorhead, and KJRR, Channel 7, Jamestown, your Fox stations.
Well, President Carter, I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate you being here. It's very nice of you. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to see you.
Because I know you have a very busy schedule, and to make room for us really means a great deal to me. Thank you again.
Well, I just thank you for having me on your show, Regis.
From New York, would you like to run a tab? It's The Late Show with David Letterman. Tonight, the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, comedian Brett Butler, and chef Daniel Boulou. Plus, Paul Schaefer and the CBS Orchestra. And now, a man who is available in a handsome simulated walnut finish, David Letterman.
Welcome to the program, please. Hey.
You people must be worn out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ed Sullivan Theater, or as we like to call it, Biosphere 2. I'm fascinated about this biosphere project. I guess by now we're all familiar with it. There was, I guess, 8 scientists in this synthetic environment in the desert in Oracle, Arizona for 2 years. And on Sunday, they came out. They emerged from the environment there. And over the 2 years, apparently, they had grown really very, very close, these 8 people. I mean, really, and I'll tell you why. In fact, I'm more than a little disappointed. I'm steamed because I just found out that this proposed Bill Clinton health care policy, listen to this, will not cover my weekly aromatherapy sessions. What the hell am I going to do? If we have native New Yorkers here in the audience, you know what I'm talking about. A brand new law goes into effect today. Mayor Dinkins signed this law. It's official. I'm not sure I understand this. If you're waiting for a subway, we have authors in the audience plugging their books. Can't get on the show, but they thought they'd just drop by and hold up the book. Ladies and gentlemen, last night was a big night for baseball. Let me run this down for you. The American League West was clinched by the Chicago White Sox. Good for those folks there in Chicago. All right, the American League East, Toronto Blue Jays. I'm sorry, we had a shot. And in a related baseball item, New York Mets pitcher Sid Fernandez last night, I understand, bought one of those scratch-off lotto tickets and won like $1. So that's pretty good. Oh, welcome to the biosphere. May I show you through the biosphere? News from Michigan, Detroit police, and I think, you know, we're constantly striving to make America a more civilized place. You know, not that we're doing that great a job, but we're constantly striving, and I can appreciate this. People in Detroit got tired of the police officers. When they would issue a ticket, they would always say, "Have a nice day." So the officials have told the police there not to say "have a nice day" when they give out a ticket. And they've also told them to refrain, when they're in the middle of a homicide investigation, to refrain from using the word bummer. So I think... No, that's not fair. You had to nudge her. Hey, don't doze off. They might take a picture. Hey, well, we have a little scandal. It's not a big scandal with the new Miss America. Her name is, let me see if I get this right, Kimberly Clarice Aiken. I believe she's Miss South Carolina. Just a tiny little scandal. This is nothing major. But, you know, this year the pageant was going to be different because the women in the competition had to do their own hair and their own makeup. Okay? So now the new Miss America says, well, in fact, she used a professional stylist. Yeah, well, yeah. I was rocked as well. So now the pageant authorities are very upset about this, and the rules are going to be even tougher next year. Next year, for '94, in addition to doing their own hair and makeup, all the contestants must also do their own plastic surgery. And if they catch one... Here's kind of an unpleasant turn of events. You know, a Long Island district attorney was saying that for the upcoming trial of Joey Buttafuoco, that he was going to need nude photos. Welcome to the biosphere. This is very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. On our program tonight, former President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, is here. You bet. And we have a visit from a very funny stand-up comedian and the star of what is being talked about as the hottest new television program of the fall season. Brett Butler is here, ladies and gentlemen. And we have We have, from Restaurant Danielle here in Manhattan, we have a wonderful chef, Danielle Boulou, and he'll be cooking right on this very stage, ladies and gentlemen. Right here. They're not booing, they're saying Boulou. Oh, no, you're right, they are booing. Now, here's our good friend, Mr. Paul Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen. So, little Paul. Hey, everybody. Huh.
You're marvelous. How are you, Dave?
Hey, buddy. What do you think? Do we have time? You want to knock us out with something quick, like 4 bars or something peppy? Knock us out? Kill us. What'd you do last night?
Oh, well, my parents were in town. They've been in town all
I know.
weekend.
I think
and,
the world of your parents. Shirley, your mother?
That's right.
Yeah,
Bernard, my dad.
Bernard,
we had a
your father.
lovely dinner at a fancy restaurant.
I think this is great.
Yeah, we had a good
You
time.
and your baby was...
Yeah, well, I came in to see the baby, you know, and the
your lovely
family
wife,
was all
Kathy?
together and everything.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Well, good for you. I think
Thank you very
that's
much.
wonderful, and I love your baby, and I think you're doing it just terrific.
I know, you've been so nice to us and everything. What did you do last night?
I'm sorry?
I say, what did you do last night?
Nothing really. Nothing. Okay, on the program, huh? What?
Really? We had a great time, family.
I know. I couldn't be happier that you had a great time.
What did you do?
You know, when you ask me questions like this, in this context, I think to myself, maybe I should re-examine my priorities.
Oh, but I'm sure that's not the case.
Well, you know, I did last night what I do occasionally. I won't say I do this every Monday night. And now thinking about it, compared to what you did, I don't know, I just don't seem as fulfilled as you must seem.
Well, what was it exactly that you were doing?
Well, actually, I have a clip of what I did.
Oh, great. A clip. Oh, great.
But, you know, I'm not, right now, after hearing about your life, I'm not feeling that positive and strong about myself.
I'd love to see the clip.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, it's fun. I mean, I won't deny that. It's great fun. Here's me at the house. Roll it, Hal. This is what I did last night. I'm on the couch having a cigar. I got the 38 out, and I'm just shooting. I'm shooting at fruit. Look at that. There goes a couple oranges. Yeah. And there's the apple. Yeah. Now this one's my favorite. Watch the way this melon blows up. Look at that. Wham!
You had a great time too, Steve.
Well, I guess so. I guess it's all in how you look at it.
That's all it is.
You know, the president was in town yesterday. I think he was in town over the entire weekend.
Yeah.
And he spent some time in Queens on Sunday. And then yesterday, of course, he addressed the UN. And if you were in the city, especially Manhattan yesterday, you couldn't go anywhere because of this massive gridlock. But I'm telling you something. When we had the vice president on our show a couple of weeks ago, if you have never seen a presidential motorcade, it's something to behold. It really is very, very impressive. And because I thought for perhaps people who didn't see him yesterday in town or maybe didn't get a chance to look at it on the news, tonight we'll show you President Bill Clinton's motorcade as it blew right across Manhattan yesterday. It's breathtaking. Hal, do you have that news footage? We do. All right, roll the videotape. Here we go. Yesterday, President Clinton in town. This is a Midtown street. There's one of the Secret Service guys on the motorcycle. I believe that's the car preceding the president. This is the presidential limousine. Those are the Secret Service guards. And what's this? Wait a minute. Yes, sirree. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the 39th President of the United States. Jimmy Carter is with us tonight, also Brett Butler and Danielle Boulou. The show will continue right after you watch this. Thanks for being here.
Rush, bravo. Don't let them silence you. RMN. This is from Richard Nixon, and he sent it to me from his office in New Jersey. Now go back, Chet, if you would, put the full shot again. No, I need a bigger shot than that. Go back to the original shot. I want you to, this is from Richard Nixon, bravo, don't let them silence you. In a paragraph, this is the ironic bit of humor here. Down here it says that President Nixon, the Nixon administration, used it to torment left-wing broadcasters. He used the very doctrine he's telling me to oppose and don't let them silence me. I just thought it was somewhat ironic, a little humorous, but happy to get it from the former president. When we come back, the rest of our show, it's a dilly, it's a doozy. You'll love it, so stay right where you are.
Or will a chicken eat a chicken McNugget? Now, do you? Sir, do you think a chicken will eat a chicken McNugget? Huh? Would you eat a human McNugget? Dear, would a chicken eat a chicken McNugget? No? You say no. How many people say no? All right, how many people say yes? Well, let's bring out the chickens. Hello? Now we'll find out if this chicken will eat a chicken McNugget. Just to make sure, Tane, will you verify that this is an actual...
Hey, how are you? Thank you, Paul. The CBS Orchestra. Let me tell you, on the program, we have former United States President Jimmy Carter, a very, very nice man. We met him earlier before the program, and actually, we met Jimmy Carter, I think, about 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know if he remembers it or not, but we'll see. We'll quiz his memory. That'll be my first question to the former president.
Great.
Also, comedian Brett Butler has a very, very exciting new television program over there on ABC. And Chef Daniel Boulou, we're going to be out here cooking something with shellfish. And, you know, my hobby is like shellfish. I can't get enough shellfish. I crave shellfish to eat and to talk about and to consume and think it over. If you ever order, or you like me, a dozen oysters, they're great until you get that one oyster that seems like it's not a really good oyster. And it seems like you always get one per dozen. And for me, it's usually like right in the middle, and so then I'm torn. Well, now do I go ahead and finish them up? That'll be my first question for the chef.
Cool. Write it down.
And, also, you know, we talked about the Biosperians 2 years ago. I mean, Biosphere mania was white hot. When these 8 men and women went off into this dome, I don't know if it's exactly a geodesic dome, but I just like saying geodesic, so out in the desert there to conduct experiments. They were going to live in this dome for 2 years trying to grow their own vegetables and stuff. So I think we have videotape now of them loading into the Biosphere 2 years ago, and here we'll be looking at them. There it is. There. Oh, look at that. Wait a minute, that's a Hyatt hotel, isn't it? There they are. They're going into the Biosphere. They'll be gone for 2 years. They don't look too apprehensive. They're sealed up, a completely synthetic environment, and they remained there for 2 years until Sunday. They opened it up, and they walked back into the bright light of the sun. And ladies and gentlemen, we're very happy, very proud, and delighted to have those 8 men and women here with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to the Biosperians. Folks, stand up. There they are. I guess they had a lot of time on their hands and maybe a microwave oven and stuff. Kind of let themselves go. I don't know.
Not much to do in there.
Well, God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do our top 10 list tonight. I have it right here. Running tonight. The top 10 category list tonight is complaints of the Biosperians. Locked away in that synthetic environment, growing vegetables and stuff for 2 years. Top 10 complaints now of the Biosperians. Number 10, bad planning to have everyone in there be named Billy. Yes, you see, that would be a terrible mistake. Number 9, all the jokes about people who live in glass houses. Number 8, Bio toast was usually bio burnt. Number 7, cockroaches the size of lawn tractors. Number 6, completely missed 2 of Madonna's new looks. Oh, no, you must be heart-sick about that. Number 5, sick of people calling us Trekkies. I don't know. That makes no sense. Number 4, never found Waldo. Oh, no. Number 3, on second day, badminton birdie got stuck in the rafters. Number 2, crazy woman who kept breaking in claiming to be Mrs. Biosphere. The number 1 complaint of the biospherians, biosores. There you go. Okie dokie. You know, we're all very excited about our first guest. We don't get many presidents on this television show. In fact, we've never had any. But we're very excited, as I have said all night, that our first guest has had some time to come by and say hello. Please welcome the author of this book right here. It's entitled Talking Peace. And, ladies and gentlemen, the 39th President of the United States of America, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy! Very nice. You got a standing ovation there. Good for you. Thank you very much for your time. I know you must be busy and certainly have better things to do than say hello to us, but I'm grateful to you for it.
I appreciate being here. I'm glad to sell the book. That's the way I make a living.
Yeah. do you, I mentioned that we met once before. Do you remember that? Do you remember the circumstances under that?
Well,
you're not under oath.
Well, I know, but I've always made a practice to tell the truth, and you know, I meet a lot of famous people. DiMaggio, Carlson, Leno, and so forth. I can't say that I remember, David.
You don't remember? It was, you were actually doing another television show, live at 5, across the hall.
I remember that television show very well.
Yeah. And I came up and you had Footsteps of Abraham. Was that the name of the book? Something like that?
My memory is as good as yours. Blood of Abraham.
Blood of Abraham. All right, all right.
Still on sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I came up and I had you autograph a copy for me.
Oh,
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for remembering.
Oh, sure. Thank you. What did you make of the events a couple of weeks ago? It was a nice honor for you to be there and to be recognized for your efforts in the Middle East.
Well, it was exciting and gratifying. You know, there were a lot of preparations that had to go into it, though. That was the first time I visited the White House since I left 12 and a half years
ago. Is that right?
So, and Bill Clinton explained to me all the preparations that had to be made. And this is a true story. He called Prime Minister Rabin, who did not want to come. And he finally said, okay, please come. I think it'll be a momentous, earth-shaking event. And I'd like for the world to see you and Arafat on the same stage. And Rabin finally said, okay, I'll come. And then he said, well, I'd like for you all also to exchange a handshake. And Prime Minister Rabin said, I'll exchange a handshake, but no kisses. This is a true story.
It's like my honeymoon, you know?
I know.
You hadn't been there in 12 and a half years?
No. Even when they hung my portrait in the White House, they had a ceremony.
Yeah.
But they forgot to invite me. I didn't even know. So I saw my portrait in the White House and my wife for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Now, we know about some of the things that you do, certainly, and we know about some of the things that other former presidents do. And I think something that kind of got the attention of folks, I don't know, a year and a half ago, a couple of years ago, former President Reagan allegedly received like $2 million to go speak in Japan. I think I may have the facts not exactly nailed down on this, but yeah. Now, can you comment on that? Is that all right for him to be taking a $2 million fee to go someplace and speak?
Well, you know, I'm not a judge, David, and I hate
former president.
Well, I know, but I hate to say anything against President Reagan. I hate to criticize another president, but if anybody knows of another opportunity for a $2 million fee, I wish I could know.
Oh, yeah? Well, get in line.
Yeah, I like it.
We're going to do a commercial, and we'll be right back here with the former president.
Gator has obtained a limited number of the blockbuster new book of the year, The Real Anita Hill, The Untold Story, published by the Free Press. You can purchase this shocking expose in bookstores, or get it free by subscribing to the American Spectator. Author David Brock uncovers evidence about Anita Hill that has been censored by liberals, her lifetime pattern of crying sexual harassment, her political radicalism, and most important, her likely motivation for destroying the career of Clarence Thomas. Call 1-800-332-3900 and subscribe to the American Spectator. We'll rush you a free copy of The Real Anita Hill, The Untold Story. For $34.95, you'll get 12 issues of the American Spectator.
I'm going after the show.
Oh, well, I got you something. I figured you want to go in the pool, so I bought you this. I got you some snorkel kit and some swim fins. There you go, okay? All right, thanks. Be right back with Mark Colley right after that. Thanks, Charlie.
Greeks involved in it. So the downsides are very real, and I think that it's a sobering prospect all around. And I think the members of Congress found that the prospect was kind of sobering, and they were pretty sympathetic to the dilemma that the president faces, because ultimately the president has not yet made a decision, and ultimately it's his call on this thing.
And what's your assessment of the relationship of the current Somalia mission to these prospects for going into Bosnia?
It really is a very different situation in Bosnia than it is in Somalia.
These tiny yellow sensors are the keys to making Nick's electrified roadway safe. As you're about to see on this model, the sensor can detect the magnetic field of an approaching car. And when it detects that field, it trips a relay that allows electricity to flow only to the section of roadway that's beneath the car at the moment.
Here. Daniel Boulou will be cooking something a bit later, and Brett Butler, it must be exciting for you to be here with the Biospherians tonight, Mr. President.
Great, too.
When you were very fit, when you were in office and, of course, traveling around, and I don't think you speak many languages, do you? How many do you speak other languages?
Just one.
Just English? Yeah. So
Spanish.
it can be... You speak a little Spanish as well?
Sure.
Good for you. But it can be an obstacle, certainly, maybe not to the extent that it was then. But when you go to a foreign country, you're at the mercy of a translator. Do you travel with your own translator? Does the leaders of the other country provide you with one? How does that work?
Well, we were just talking about Japan. I went to Japan the year that I got out of the White House, involuntarily. And when I got there, I was asked to make some speeches, and I made a graduation speech to a small college near Osaka. And since I had just left the White House, the audience was really uptight. It was students and their parents and teachers, and I was a little bit nervous too. So I thought that I would just put them at ease with a joke.
Good idea.
And it takes...
I try that occasionally here myself.
I wondered about that. And then I knew it took longer.
It's a good thing you've got the Secret Service with you.
I knew it took longer to say anything in Japanese than it does English.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the shortest joke I knew. It was one left over from my original governor's campaign. It was not a very funny joke, but brief. So I told my joke, and the interpreter gave my joke to the audience. And there was uproarious laughter. It was the best I have ever gotten from an audience. And so I couldn't wait to get through with my talk. I went back to the holding room with the interpreter, and I said, tell me how you told that joke. I want to use it the same way in English. And he was very evasive. And but I insisted, and he finally ducked his head and turned away, and he said, I told the audience, President Carter told a funny story. Everyone must laugh. So sometimes...
No.
Yeah, really, that happened.
That's great.
So sometimes an interpreter can really help. But this is another true story. I went, the first time I made a foreign trip as president, it was to Poland. And then I went to other places. But when I got off the plane in Poland, I had an interpreter there. And I didn't write my speech out ahead of time. It was just a greeting. It was a very welcoming group, and mostly very heavily Catholic. And I got out and I told them that I understood that their heritage was one of commitment to and love of freedom. Love of freedom. And the interpreter said that I knew about their commitment to free love. Well, it didn't go over well with the audience. And this is, you can look it up in the records, it's a true story. And all over the world, you know, I was accused of saying that Polish Catholic people were committed to free love.
Wow. Welcome words from the president. The book Talking Peace, I know a little bit about this. It's for students, younger people, but I guess for everybody.
High school and college, and also for their teachers and their parents. It describes all the wars in the world, what causes war, the connection between peace and democracy, freedom, human rights, alleviation of suffering. What can be done, the techniques of mediation, what can be done to end wars, and what young people in this nation can do about it. And the same techniques that you use to resolve conflicts, say, in the Middle East, like at Camp David, are the ones that you can use within a family or within a high school, and the commitment to freedom and democracy. So all of this is in one book.
It must have been very gratifying for you to be there a couple of weeks ago when they signed the framework for peace. And I personally have a lot of admiration for you, and I thank you very much for your time. Nice to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again, sir. We'll be right back, kids. Very nice.
Welcome back. There was one dissenting voice on the Ways and Means Committee today. Jim Bunning, a former star pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, now a congressman from Pennsylvania, asked the First Lady as to her intention to tax tobacco. Well, look, if there's a way to tax cholesterol, caffeine, sugar, salt, and all that, would you go for that? And here's her answer.
If there is a way that you can ever come up with to tax substances like the ones you've just named, we'll be glad to look at it.
Now wait. I think, in all honesty, using as much objectivity as a conservative that I can muster, I think she was being flippant. But the problem is, if they could find a way to tax caffeine, they're going to do it, this crowd is. And I think, look, if we're going to tax tobacco on the basis that people who smoke place great strain on the healthcare system, why, there's a lot of other people who place a far greater strain. For example, you know who? The terminally ill. Those people are eating up money like crazy. Let's raise taxes on the terminally ill. Then let's raise taxes on the overweight. Tax the fat, because you know they're going to get, you know, have heart problems. And then we can tax diabetics because it costs a lot of money for dialysis. It's just absolutely insane here, folks. Now there's another thing I've got to show you to prove that I'm right. I told you, wait till you see what all comes under this umbrella as health care. Gun control, all kinds of things. It didn't take long for me to be proven right. Take a look.
Is the administration considering including a tax on firearms? And if not, to include in paying for the healthcare system? And if not, can we work together to look at this further down the road?
Mr. Reynolds, we very much respect the proposal that you've come with and have really worked to develop. And we will continue to. The president's preference is to get semi-automatic weapons out of the hands of people who are killing themselves and each other with them, and to take the kind of steps that we need as a nation to put an end to this senseless violence that is not only causing great human tragedy, but, as you correctly point out, causing unnecessary health care costs. Violence is a public health problem, and in many respects, And then we have all of those costs associated with the individuals who are not killed, but who suffer grievous wounds and long-term injuries that we then pay for one way or the other.
Well over 150 items, a grand prize drawing, plus you'll be able to dance to the great sounds of Mike and the Monsters. So, join in the fun and experience this year's Harvest Moon Fling.
How do you do, boys and girls? Brett Butler will be out a little bit later to do some comedy for you folks. Daniel Boulou will be here to cook. He's going to cook some kind of big codfish deal, and he's going to use shellfish, and I have a million questions about shellfish.
Looking forward.
Bivalves in particular.
I say bivalve
Yeah,
shellfish.
it's your clams, your oysters, and your mussels.
You know a lot about
Oh,
this stuff.
man, I love them. God help me, I love them oysters. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, on the program, Jerry Lewis will be here.
Oh, my favorite.
That'll be exciting. Jerry Lewis and Rod Stewart there. That's right. You know, I took a couple of minutes on my lunch hour today, and I walked through the area. We work here in a wonderful little neighborhood.
Excuse me, I had
Oysters?
gas, yeah.
And I went into a greeting card shop, and I found some very unusual greeting cards. And since we're right around the corner from greeting card season, I don't know.
Whatever that means.
I thought I'd share these greeting cards with you tonight. And Paul, maybe a little special introductory music for the greeting cards might help here.
There's lots of nutty cards out. Merry Christmas, howdy do. But I don't need no greeting card to say, I love you.
Oh. So, that's what you did last night.
Well, I stayed up all night writing, composing, and reading.
Look at this one. I thought this one was kind of odd right here, this greeting card. It looks nice enough. It looks cheery, friendly. Here's a card that you don't want to receive, probably. We all know about your illegal hookup to our cable system.
That's a crazy greeting.
You don't need that one.
Wouldn't want to receive that.
Another lovely card right here. Take a look at this one. Yes, sir. I've never seen it before. Your hair plugs make your head look like a botched irrigation experiment. I believe that one cleared the Hudson. This one is kind of ominous, I guess, when you get right down to it. Yes, sir. I'll be getting out soon, and I haven't forgotten your testimony put me here. Here's a card that helps you make a very specific apology. I'm sorry my monkey soiled your drapes. Mr. Letterman has told a very funny joke. Please laugh. I'm not sure I even understand this one at all. You don't know me, but I just ate an entire loaf of Wonder Bread at one sitting, and, well, I've just got to tell someone. I like this one. It's kind of frilly. It's an unusual thank you card. Thank you. I had a lovely joyride after stealing your car. How terribly considerate. You know, I've actually received one of these myself. From all of us at the Home Shopping Network, thanks for buying so much junk.
Beautiful. What a beautiful sentence. Lovely sentence.
You've seen my Diamond tiara, haven't you?
Sure, from the Home Shopping.
My Diamonique tiara.
I love it.
You know, I didn't realize they had a card for this. Take a look at this. I hear you got outed at your class reunion.
Really? I didn't know they made those kind of cards.
It's sending a chill through the audience. And finally, get ready to cover me here, Paul. It's our last little greeting card. You know, why? Think about it. Why bother even sending this one? Your fly was open all day last Thursday. Greeting card. Very great. Okay. When we return,
Brett Butler will join us. Come on back, folks. Thanks for being here.
Rocking
Race Under Fire, and you can see it, yeah, like I said, tomorrow night. Whew, I got to start coming to rehearsal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brett.
Thank you very much. This is exciting. I am from Georgia, too, and I got to meet the president backstage. I'm so Southern, I'm related to myself, actually, but I have lived here for 9 years. This week, 9 years in New York City, and first time in this theater. The first show I ever did, because if you knew, the first gig I ever worked here was in Brooklyn, New York, and Sheepshead Bay. You know the club? Wait, no, and the whole audience was filled with these gorgeous 18-year-old mustachioed Sicilian carnivores and their boyfriends, and let's see. And anyway, I finished my act, and this guy comes up afterwards like, yo, you're from where? Dominic, listen to this. I will never go down south because people sound so stupid when they talk. What do you say to that? You know, like, oh, Arturo, Prince of Irony. I left for good reasons. Well, a real long time ago, a couple years before I left, this is a perfunctory first husband joke, bear with me. I was married to a redneck from a place called Bunnykill, Alabama, and maybe I shouldn't say redneck. That's like simplistic and pejorative. I'll elaborate. I was married to a subliterate terracotta-toothed imbecile with violent tendencies. Wait, other words are coming to mind. I was married to a simian, knuckle-dragging, cousin-loving, dog-selling, trailer-dwelling, brainless amoeba on the booger farm of the bayou. Thank you. And, I know. I know that sounds really hateful, but I assure you he doesn't understand hyphenated references. My Rabelaisian wit was all but lost on him. And I know, do you believe that Tipper Gore you for no apparent reason in the department stores? Oh, don't they chap your butt? I can't stand them. And then really, well, I won because she had perfume and I had lit matches, so that was pretty much a no, but you know what kills me? They don't even have to sell anything. They think if they say the name of the cologne, we'll be edified in some celestial way. You know, when they come up and go, obsession.
Thank you very much. Brett Butler, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow night is the big show. Good luck to you. We'll be right back to cook clams.
Obsession is
right up. Now, Andy, before we get started, you actually had some good news. Your girlfriend got a job.
Yeah, my girlfriend is, what's that laugh for? Employment is good. She got a job.
Yes, sir. Thank you, boys. You know, no one is more qualified than our next guest to write this book. It's entitled Cooking with Daniel Boulud. I think you see what I'm getting at. He is a world-renowned chef and owner of Restaurant Daniel here in Manhattan. Ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, Daniel Boulud. Daniel, come on out. First of all, tell us about your restaurant. I understand it's doing quite well.
Well, it's doing pretty well, and very happy with it.
Yeah, you got to wait for like 2 months to get a reservation in this place?
Well, for you, maybe, yeah, it's
3 months.
2 months. For lunch, it's easier.
How many people do you
2
have?
weeks for lunch only.
How many people do you have working in the kitchen?
About 20.
20 people
Yeah,
actually in there cooking? Let me give you a word of advice. Hair nets.
We have that.
Okay,
And
good.
clove.
Good. You have a lovely array of shellfish.
Yeah, we're talking like Maine in its splendor.
Yeah, is it okay to eat shellfish now? Because a lot of
Yeah,
people say that it's not good, that it might be,
In Europe, we
get
eat them
hepatitis.
no.
Yeah.
This is hand-picked bellon oyster. You've never seen bellon oyster so big.
Wow,
You
that's
know?
an enormous, yeah, that make lovely earrings,
You
wouldn't it?
can swallow this one. So let's cook.
Now,
Give me half an hour to
show me a clam. Can I have a clam? What the hell
Yes,
is this?
those are the...
What are these things?
Those are barnacle, look.
Yeah, I had an uncle who used to get these on his neck.
You eat those. Have one.
About once a year. What is that? These are barnacles? Now, you just eat it like that?
Yeah, you just...
Yeah, bite them for a burst of flavor.
So we got to do some work here. Let's move the
Man, okay. Actually, that's not too bad. What are we cooking here?
So, have you seen? It was smoking a bunch of times ago. Let's do some more.
Honey, why don't you cut down a little?
Let's bring that little guy. Oh, okay, don't worry.
It's in East River. That's what happened there. Wow. You know, now
we're going to cook codfish with...
Codfish?
Cockles and
Codfish
mussels.
and cockles. And mussels, yeah. You know, speaking of shellfish, this summer, between shows, we had a lot of time on our hands. And our head writer... Oh, wait a minute, I'm telling a story.
Okay. I want to show you how we come this.
And our head writer, Rob Burnett, ate 60 oysters.
Really?
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I don't think they were big like this.
There he is, right there. Look, Danielle, there he is, eating oysters. He ate 60 oysters in one afternoon. Is that all right?
Well, it could be. I mean, you got to wash it with a good white wine, and
yeah.
I think...
I get the feeling you're not impressed.
Well, no, I can... After 2 dozen, I feel just enough, you know. Let's get moving now, Dave.
Okay, wait a minute.
You give me half an hour to that?
The most fun I've had all month.
So let's say, I'm going to cook the fish with all the cockle, the mussel, the little...
What exactly is a cockle?
Cockle is the tiniest clams you have on the...
Let me have one of them little boys. How do you open these things?
You just cook them to open them.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I start with some leeks and shallots.
Yeah. Put them right in there, a little butter.
Right, and a little bit of butter. And we're going to sweat this for about a few minutes.
You know what's good?
Then while we do that, you're going to start to cut me a piece of fish.
You ever had that burrito supreme at Taco Bell?
Do some more, Dave.
Man, is that good. That's it. All right, here. Let me give you a hand with that.
Stir up the
I'll be stirring this up
I'll
here.
show you the fish.
Boy, it smells good already. I don't know why you want to ruin it by tossing that fish in here. Oh, that's a codfish, is that right?
Yes.
Where'd you get the cod?
From Maine.
Mm-hmm. But you bought it here as a local fish?
I have a friend, Rob Mitchell.
Yeah, you want to buy
Every
cod,
morning
you
he's
gotta know somebody to get cod in this town.
Yeah, the potatoes.
The new potatoes, yeah. Oh, clams. I'm dying to have one of those clams, all right? Okay.
We have very small potatoes, which are fingerling potato.
Fingerling
We add some
potatoes?
fresh lemon thyme inside.
Oh, you can't go wrong there.
Some more clams.
When do you add the champagne?
That's it. Take care of it.
Oh, good. You know what you're doing, don't you? You've given me the champagne.
Yeah, but it's for the soup, huh?
You know what I'm going to do, don't you?
So I add up some more mussel into it.
I'm going to go nuts like I've won a race here in a minute.
Oh, be careful, no. So this is the fish stew.
Ouch. Oh, I hurt myself. Can you give me a hand with that?
Dave, no.
All right. You need some needle nose pliers. There you go. I can take it from here. I got it from here.
Okay. Stop.
We'll be right back, boys and girls.
Celebrate Halloween by entering the Great Pumpkin Fun Run Walk on Saturday, October 30th at Bemidji State University. The event begins at 10 a.m. at the Student Union. There are special registration rates for entries before Wednesday, October 27th. The Run Walk is sponsored by the BSU Minority Student Services Program.
1-800-441-5900 or send check or money order to Target Training, P.O. Box 4070.
This is Saba, is that your name?
Yep.
And this is Debbie, and we're enjoying clams. Paul, get in here and try a little of this.
So I finished the recipe with parsley.
Yeah, all right.
Dave,
I want to
let me
thank
cook today,
Daniel, of
but,
course, and Brett Butler, and President Jimmy Carter. We'll see you folks tomorrow night. Thanks for being here. Goodbye, everybody.
Worldwide Pants.
You can come back. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. I enjoyed it very much, and you were great too, Kathy Lee.
Children, and we have... There are 8
different ways to buy and sell and make more money than you could ever dream of. You don't need any money to start. I'll show you what to buy, what to sell, how to buy in ways people don't even think of, and ways to sell the same day you buy. I have a list of the hottest things to buy, and I have a system of selling whatever you buy right away, and you can make a fortune.
Be on Saturday's train. You see, the tea leaves never lie. And neither do the tea bags. But how will I know her, I says to Amelia. Sure, now, she says, just look around the parlor car, and the prettiest girl there, that'll be Ellen Fox.
Tonight, Garry Shandling, Jerry Lewis, and Phyllis Diller.
My husband thought I looked funnier in a dress than Milt.
It's a special comedians edition later.
Found it in an antique shop. Hi, Jeff. Paris. It's a map of an old Spanish land grant.
Say, that is an antique.
Here's the Ibarra territory.
My grandmother's grandfather, he lived right there.
That was before California was a state, wasn't it, Ben?
It certainly was.
I keep forgetting how long your family's lived here.
Limited war up until now. The potential for violence in the Balkans is much greater than that we have seen over the past 2 years. And there have been some people, I would suggest, the Albanian leader in Kosovo, Ibrahim Rugova, who have contributed enormously to keeping heads as cool as possible inside their own community. I think Rugova has done that. I think President Gligorov of Macedonia has done an enormous amount in trying to maintain stable relations between Albanians and Macedonians.
The villains and the evil incarnate.
Clearly the sort of the main villains are Milosevic in the first instance and Tudjman in the second instance.
Leader of Serbia and Croatia.
Opinion. Yeah, exactly, the presidents of Serbia and Croatia respectively. But also I think that Western...
This is, by anybody's standards, a hell of a hurricane.
Can we all get along? Can we get along?
I've got this adrenaline that's going through me.
I'm already safe.
Now, come on. Mr. Ferguson, I mean, it's quite apparent that something's going on there.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
Dr. Irvin, look, you keep blood next to jelly?
Are you trying to discredit me?
Robert, your daddy's here.
You told Neil Simon that he doesn't understand comedy.
That's actually funny, but it's not funny.
How you doing this morning?
Making tasty.
Can you sit up? There have been a lot of articles chronicling your change in hairdos and how you dress. I want to look like you, Paula. Well, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Good night, Connie.
Good night, Danny.
Good night, everybody.
Anne Rice brought vampires back.
And Nicole Kidman. So join us later this morning and see what a difference today makes.
At KTHI-TV, we are as concerned about the violence on television as you are.
Comedy special editions, and we'll start with Garry Shandling. Garry is currently in the spotlight, of course, with his Emmy-nominated late-night parody, The Larry Sanders Show. We start off here with Garry trying to recall just how many times he sat in for Johnny Carson as the guest host of The Tonight Show.
20,
30.
More, way more than that.
Maybe,
Come on.
maybe 700. I don't know. I'm not like that. I do keep track. I'd have to look at the nail marks in the wall, because I used, like a prisoner of war, I used to scratch it into the wall each time I hosted. I don't know. I don't know. But no, you're probably right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. Not many times, because it's like 5 times for a week. So maybe I did 10 weeks, 8 weeks. I don't really know.
Well, in any case, enough, I'm hoping, to answer this question.
Okay.
Did your sense of how a show was going, not how you were doing, you know, as a comic getting laughs, but how a show was going, did it improve? Because I find when you're in the middle of something, you don't often have a really good sense of how it's playing at home until you develop an ability to gauge that, and it's not necessarily an ability you're born with.
There were many times I couldn't tell. And there's a very weird thing that happens. I don't know if it happens as much on a show like this without a live audience. But there's some of your staff members here, but they do not qualify, trust me.
Automatons.
As either live or an audience. And I'm kidding. So, but there's a strange thing that happens where it can feel one way in the studio, even to the producers. And they go, gee, but for some reason on TV, when you're right in there, that vibe doesn't carry through to TV, and it can be a wonderful show on television, whereas there was a really weird feeling in the room that may, and I always remember, especially when I was performing, doing stand-up on The Tonight Show, I remember thinking that I had done really badly, and then going home and going, gee, this was really fine. So, and that wasn't like a comics paranoia, but rather that juxtaposition of the reality of the room versus television. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. You know, when I was a guest on The Tonight Show, I was, Johnny was interviewing me, right? And he finished the interview with me, and I moved down, and Larry Hagman was to my right, because he was the first guest on, and Johnny was now interviewing Shelley Winters. So I'm on the couch here, and Shelley Winters is here, and Johnny is talking to Shelley Winters, you know, and I'm struggling to concentrate on the conversation, because at any point Johnny can lean over and go, what do you think, Garry? Do you agree with Shelley? You know, so you got to be ready. You can't, just because you're on the couch, lose your concentration. So I'm really concentrating hard on this Johnny Carson, Shelley Winters interview, which is not easy. And, you know, because they're talking about Marilyn Monroe and what she used to be. It was just, you know, well, that's another story, I'll tell you. So I'm listening to Shelley Winters, and I'm really concentrating, and suddenly, and I'm off camera, Larry Hagman leans over to me on this side, and no one could see it, and we're on the air, but no one can see this. And he leans over to me, and he goes, you like to fish? You know, and it's like when you're in school, like the teacher's going to catch you talking, and I wanted to go, Johnny, Larry Hagman's being weird, Johnny, you know. Change the seating plan. And I don't know still to this day what that was about. Because I'm not going to start up a conversation, and I hadn't been talking about fishing. One time, Johnny was interviewing, so that's the kind of stuff we want to capture on the Larry Sanders Show. So we would show that happening off camera, and the viewer would then get to participate in that off-camera stuff. One time I was sitting there, and again it was with Shelley Winters, which is why I said that would be, and Johnny was interviewing Norman Mailer, and I do not know the history verbatim of Norman Mailer and Marilyn Monroe, but there's evidently some intrigue there that he either used to go out with. I don't know the story.
He wrote a book in which he theorized what it would be like if he had been her lover.
Okay, and Shirley, well, who hasn't? And
well, I couldn't get mine published. I don't know about you.
No, well, mine's a diary. So now, actually, it's a journal. Men call it a journal instead of a diary, but I still write down the things I cry about. So it's a diary. So Johnny's interviewing Norman Mailer, and Shelley Winters is sitting on this side of me. And I'm listening to Johnny, and Norman Mailer's talking about Marilyn Monroe, and suddenly Shelley Winters leans over to me, and off camera, and she starts saying, you know, Marilyn, because Shelley used to be Marilyn's roommate, I guess. So she goes, you know, Marilyn would have never done that. What he's saying, he's full of it right now. That is not at all how Marilyn was, and Marilyn would not ever do anything like that. He's just making that up. I know for a fact, because I happen to have been there, and I'm going, You know, I grew up in Tucson, Arizona. Suddenly I'm involved in a Marilyn Monroe conversation with someone who is her roommate, you know, off camera, and I go, well, yeah. It's like talking to your aunt. Yeah, I know. What do you do? And this other stuff goes on. It's bizarre.
So many things have happened even in these early installments of the Larry Sanders Show that people who've watched talk shows through the years will recognize, like the notion of doing a live commercial, which used to be a staple of The Tonight Show. Right. And you wind up doing a commercial for the garden weasel.
Well, I'll tell you, we explored that. The one I thought you were going to say, we really explored the idea that, I'm going to jump on you because I thought you were going to bring up another one that is right in the news right now, which is having a guest on your show. We did an episode where we have a comic book, and then Larry turns on the TV the night before and sees the same comic on The Tonight Show and goes ballistic because it's unethical in the talk show world to go on another talk show within a certain length of time. That whole sick kind of environment, although it's a reality. And for a reason. I mean, you know, you wouldn't want to see me on this show and then flip the channel and see me on another show, you know, at the same time.
Don't slip around. We'll be right back.
That was close. Thin, crisp, and irresistible. Doritos Tortilla Thins. Grab them.
Okay.
One more hate-him public persona. He addressed his critics and the many people who enjoy his work. He talked about his work for muscular dystrophy and about some of the criticism that's received in recent years. But the highlight was discussing his partnership with Dean Martin. We talked about the chemistry of Martin and Lewis in the 50s, and here's why Lewis thought it worked so well.
When I was writing and thinking about what we had to do, I had to diminish Jerry and put Dean there. And in everything that we did, we kept that. As a matter of fact, there was one point when I told Dean it would really be great if we put a quarter of an inch on his heels when we played the Copa, and that my crouch would work better. We did it. It worked. And what we did was we used a minimal frame of material, and what we did was just show an audience how much two guys could care about one another while they were having so much fun. So that was the key.
The vast majority was ad-lib. But then a structure worked out, but a lot of room to maneuver?
I would say there was 38 minutes of structured songs, material, and we went from there and would go an hour and 10, an hour and 20, an hour and 30. But the structure was no more than 35, 36 minutes.
In the early days when you were working clubs and trying to drum up an audience, there's an interesting story, I guess maybe it happened in Miami. Of how
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City, okay. Yeah. By the beach.
Right.
You take it.
I drowned. Every afternoon at 2,
That
3
only works
o'clock.
once, you know.
No, no, no. If you move down the beach, you can drown 3, 4 times a week. And I would drown, and he would be pumping, and I would have water, holding water in my mouth. And he would be giving me artificial respiration. I would turn from on my stomach. First show's at 8 o'clock. We're at the 500 Club. Bang, we're out of there.
So the crowd gathers to see the drowning man, and now all of them show up for the show.
Well, most. Before you knew it, this was like the first week. Before you knew it, there were... Well, the first night we played to 6 people in a room that sat 250. By the 3rd or 4th night, word to mouth was that these 2 guys do 3 hours at midnight. Well, you couldn't get near the club. The crowds were just constant around the block. And it came from our nonsense. Then they finally put our name up on the tail of the plane, Martin and Lewis at the 500 Club, and I'd run down the beach yelling at the pilot, "Folks, see, that's it." I mean, it was nothing for me to run 1.5 miles for as far as the plane went. I was the best public relations. Dean finally sat at the bench and said, "Come back, I'll meet you here. You run." I ran.
How good a straight man was Martin?
The best in the world. Best that ever lived. Oh.
Was there genuine affection between the two of you, or just a good partnership?
No. I loved him as I love him now. And he loved me the same way, but as a kid brother, and he was my hero. And that came across.
That the funniest people have some deep and lasting pain.
Sure.
That all comedy comes from pain.
You bet. Absolutely.
What is it for you, then?
Well, I think that we all begin, those of us who had to borrow white ducks to graduate in, because that was the nature of a poor family. If you don't turn that into laughter, you could die standing on those steps at PS 156 and taking your graduation picture. When there's a hole in the back of the heel of your sock and you're wearing your cousin's white ducks, if you don't turn that into humor, pal, you'll be the only one in the picture that's leaning over. So you turn it into humor. You don't let the guy take the picture right now. You make one crazy sound so that everyone breaks up. And when kids laugh and they bend over or they put their hands on their mouth, they won't shoot the picture. And you get through it that way.
Now, eventually, does that become craft, and you can still do it even after the pain is gone? Or are you always trying to soothe that pain? Maybe you push it further and further away, but it's always there, even in your 60s. Even with the wife and the daughter and all the success and the happiness.
Yeah. The pain almost has to be there, I think. I think you have to almost nurture it to stay there. Keep it at a minimum if you can. It's like I once was recommended, right after Dina and I split, I was recommended to see a very, very good analyst in Beverly Hills to help me work my way through this, to understand this. And I went to see him, and he said, you know, of course, that you're going to heal yourself. That's what psychiatry is. I'm just going to be a monitor. And I felt terribly uncomfortable. And I said, I don't know that I need any healing, doctor, and I don't know that I really need someone to tell me how to work through this, but I do know something that I realize sitting here. I have a feeling if you help me find out that I don't have any pain, I ain't never going to be funny again. I can't take that chance. Please send the bill to my office. Thank you, and I left. He called me at my office the following day and said, who said you didn't heal yourself?
And that was it? No further trips to the therapist ever?
That was it. And he sent the check that I paid him to muscular dystrophy.
He says.
But first to tell you that it seems like she's been around forever, but there was a time when she was something of a pioneer for stand-up comics of the female persuasion, and I asked her about that. Is it accurate to say that back 35, 40 years ago, when you first began to gain some prominence, that you were the first significant female stand-up comic?
That's true.
Were there any predecessors at all, any role models at all?
There was a lady that I saw on the old Ed Sullivan show by the name of Jean Carroll. And she was a Borscht Belt comic, and she worked the mountains pretty much, but then I saw her on television. That was the only female comic I had ever seen in my life. What gave you then the courage, if that's the word, to take a crack at it? That is the word, and try guts. I was forced. My then husband forced me to become a comic.
How?
Well, I was doing it in the neighborhood for nothing, and Milton Berle had just signed a $10 million contract with NBC, and my husband thought I looked funnier in a dress than Milt. And I have to agree.